Good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Real in Real Estate. This is where we talk about what's really happening in the real estate business in Las Vegas and around the world. Today, I got a really exciting special guest, good friend of mine, and the current president of VAREP, which is the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals. This is my good buddy, Jeff Hatfield. Jeff. Good start, huh?
Hey, how are you?
Welcome, brother. Welcome. Give everybody a quick rundown who you are, where you've been.
My name is Jeff Hatfield. I've been a real estate broker here in Las Vegas for about 22 years. Took over. I've been with VAREP since 2015 and served on different capacities. And in 2023, was voted in as president of our chapter. And
I think you and I pretty much started in VAREP at the same time, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
It's just such a great organization. I mean, you know, Jeff is a Marine, and you never say a former Marine. You are a Marine.
I'm a Marine.
And a proud Marine. And, you know, we live in a veteran community here. I didn't realize this when I moved here. I had no idea. Because I come from Detroit, where we had a little Air Force base called Selfridge. I'm not kidding. It's probably a little bigger than this table. It was nothing.
Oh, wow.
And I get out here. I knew of Nellis, but had no real, I didn't comprehend how big our veteran community is.
It's big. I mean, some of the numbers are staggering. We have about 264,000 veterans in Nevada. About 65% of that live down here in Clark County. So we do have a very large veteran population.
Yeah. And then you add in the Nellis, active duty at Nellis and Creech alone. It's probably another 35, 40,000?
No, as far as the numbers go, active duty, we have about 20,000.
Oh, is that what it is? Between Nellis and Creech?
Between Nellis, Creech, and our National Guard.
Okay.
And then there's some other services that have active duty stationed here. It's about 20,000.
Well, we are a very veteran-friendly town.
We are.
And I love that, man. I love that. So we both have been in since 2015. You're a busy guy. You run a brokerage, Keller Williams. You run your own business. You're a top producer. I mean, how do you have time for VAREP? And what is your passion? What makes you so passionate about it?
That's exactly what it is. It's passion. You know, when you're passionate about something, you find the time. There's some days I get to the office at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I get home at 9, 10 o'clock at night. I mean, that's just what you have to do when you're passionate about something. I have to service my real estate team. I have to service the chapter. Plus, I'm also on the board of Nevada Adventure.
Right. Talk about that. That's a great. Talk about that. That's a great cause.
Well, Nevada Outdoor Adventure Foundation is a organization. It's a national organization. We have about 7 chapters across the country. It was founded out of Fargo, North Dakota, and what they do is we take combat disabled veterans, get them to the outdoors, nurture our wounded warriors with nature, and take them fishing, take them hunting. You know, what we like to call campfire therapy. We do a thing called Vet Camp every June, and over the years it's grown. The last few years, what has happened is we have this big campfire. We take all these veterans up to Eagle Valley Reservoir, and it's a whole weekend. It's Friday to Sunday. We have some incredible sponsors that sponsor food, and we have professional fly fishing people come up and they teach you how to fly fish, which I learned about 3 years ago, got hooked, and I absolutely love fly fishing. But we about this campfire therapy is we started doing this campfire at night, and veterans were sitting there talking about their issues. You know, it's one thing to go to a shrink or to a therapist and talk about your stuff, but you can't really relate to them in an hour session with a.
And it's got to be different if they're talking amongst their peers.
Yeah. So exactly right. So you're talking with your peers, and all of a sudden something happens. People open up. You know, talking to a fellow veteran, even if it's not the same service or you're not even in the same age group, you still went through the same stuff.
Right.
And getting it out in the open. And we've had veterans actually, we've had tears, we've had laughter, and we've had veterans come up to us and say, "This weekend saved my life."
No, I believe that. A lot of people who are not in the service, or I'll go back to where I came from, Detroit. We didn't have you didn't think about it much because it wasn't around you. But and you know better than I do, as a government, we don't do the best job in taking care of our guys and gals when they enter back into civilian life, do we?
That's true. The VA has improved.
There's no question about it. It's got a long way to go.
One reason why we do have so many veterans here in Southern Nevada is the Southern Nevada VA healthcare system is by far the best. I call it VIP healthcare because here in Southern Nevada, it's great, but other parts of the country are struggling.
Yeah. No, that is very true. And there's so many things. We have so many other groups like VAREP, like the Klein Fund. There's just so many other groups out there that are here to help veterans. Let's come back to VAREP. It was founded back in 2011. And let's talk a minute about VAREP Cares. Tell everybody about VAREP Cares.
Well, so VAREP Cares is an initiative that's part of VAREP. What VAREP Cares does, it's our actual philanthropy version version of our chapter. It's us getting out into the veteran community. VAREP actually serves two masters. We have our real estate lending professionals as a trade organization, but then we also have our veteran community that we have to actually get out there and do stuff with. We have some incredible partners that we partner with, Southern Nevada Veterans Chamber of Commerce, the Salvation Army Veteran Services. We do quite a bit with those two organizations to get out there and do stuff, make a difference, make an impact in our community.
Yeah, we really do. And as someone like myself who did not serve, I was a Vietnam era guy and I missed the draft by a year. I tell everybody I literally dodged the bullet when they eliminated the draft. But it's a chance to give back. And there's so many people in this town who did not serve like me that love to give back to our veterans. And VAREP is that vehicle they can use. Because we do a lot. We have a can drive coming up on the 22nd of this month.
We do. We have and again, that is it's called Operation Fill the Pantry. And what that does is it provides assistance to the Salvation Army Veteran Services, which they house about 140 veterans, including they just started taking females last year. So they also feed about 1,000 homeless veterans a day. So, when we came in partnership with them, it really helped. When we identified that need that they needed, and we use our resources within the real estate community to help that organization.
Yeah, we do a lot of things like that. We've had socks and skivvies where people bring underwear and socks and toiletries. We try to do something every quarter to make a difference, don't we?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, it's just fantastic.
Well, and one thing about the socks and skivvies drive, so our Vice President, Brad Wolf, he's the one who kind of started the relationship with the Salvation Army.
Yes.
And we come to find out that Salvation Army gets federal grants. They cannot use that federal grant money for socks, bedding, underwear, or hygiene products.
I didn't know that. That's why we do the socks and skivvies.
That's exactly
I didn't know that.
So we found that that's something they needed.
Yeah.
They don't raise money or they don't have money for that. So we found an answer for it, and that's why we have our socks and skivvies drive.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We collect a lot of socks and skivvies. We've collected a lot of them.
Yeah, our last one, I think we were at 2,500 pairs of socks.
Isn't that something?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it really is. And on April 20th, we have our annual poker run coming up, and that's always a big success. And the work that Brad has put into it so far, I think it's going to be twice as big as it's ever been.
Yeah, our poker run. This is what our 8th annual poker run.
Yeah.
For those who don't understand what a poker run is, it was kind of designed in the motorcycle community. right? As a fundraiser. And what it is, you have multiple stops. So you have ride stop sponsors that want to kind of feature their business. Well, within the motorcycle community, they would go from one stop to the other, 5 stops in total. And each stop, they would get a poker card. And at the end, of course, you have 5 cards, make the best poker hand wins. So you have a high hand winning prize, and we have a low hand winning prize. So it's kind of neat.
And it's a great time. Everybody has a blast. And this year we're doing something a little different. In the past, we'd get to the 5th stop, and people would hang around for a while, but it would kind of fall apart. We're having 20 people, 20 booths. We're having a block party.
We are having a block party. It's going to be at Home Plate Bar and Grill. They're on Warm Springs, just behind Boot Barn. They have a very large parking lot for us. And funny story about the block party was, Brad calls me one day, says, I got this great idea for the poker. Okay, Brad, what's the idea? So he pitched it, and I'm like, this is incredible. This is exactly what we need to enhance what we've already done to make this even more successful than it was before. So like you said, we're going to have 20 vendors. Vendor booths are currently for sale. And we're going to provide food. There's going to be Kid Rock's DJ Guido is going to provide music. We're going to have some games that people can play. All fundraising stuff.
Yep.
And then there's also going to be a large
Raffles, and every vendor is going to bring a gift to raffle out that's a value of at least $50.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a great time. I expect this to just be huge. And it's happening on one of my favorite days of the year, 420.
420.
So how bad could it be, right? And April in Las Vegas, I don't think it was a better month than April.
No,
weather.
Let's hope that the weather is going to be great. But we do have a dispensary coming out. They are only going to be distributing promotional products.
Right.
But so there will be some side stuff that we're able to do with this, and the whole thing is for us to raise money to fund different initiatives that we have. As far as our government affairs committee, we have 2 bills in Congress that we are.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. First, I want to mention one more fundraiser we have, which is our Comedy for a Cause.
Comedy for a
Cause in November. And this guy he's friends with the guy that owns Stoney's over on Las Vegas Boulevard. Jeff gets the venue for nothing. So, I mean, what we raise, that money goes to the cause.
Yeah. Yeah, and the monies that they talk about fundraising, the monies that we raise is for our veteran community. It's for our board to be able to provide more services. In the past, we've provided a Vietnam era veteran who's coming. He's I'm not going to say old, but he's coming to the end of life.
He's not a kid.
He's not a
Vietnam.
Right.
Let's face it.
So he owned his own home, and he had some other stuff. And one of our board members wanted him to put everything into a trust for his family. He couldn't afford it. So they came to us, submitted an application. We voted on it, and we provided money for them, a grant for them to get a trust made up for him.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the VSO and the bills we have. But first, I want to explain to people, a lot of people that are not involved in anything, whether it's a real estate board, when I was on the board there, people want, they're sending you to Washington we're going to go in there for a reason, to talk to our Congress people about benefits that benefit the real estate community and the consumer. Well, we go to Washington in June, for other reasons. We've got, and it costs money to go there.
It does.
And what we're doing is we're not going there to have a lot of fun. We're going there to work. And talk about the VSO, the couple of bills we have. Talk about the VSO. That's so important.
So currently we
have, by the way, the Veteran Service Organization.
So currently we have about 100,000 veteran service organizations in this country. Only 92 of them are congressionally chartered. And that's your VFW, your American Legion, AMVETS, US Vets, that kind of stuff. And the reason why being congressionally chartered is so much more than a regular VSO is because now you have federal assistance. You're able to go onto U.S. Department of Defense bases and actually teach our classes what we educate veterans on. We're actually able to now get office space in the VA hospitals to where we can staff that and have somebody there available for a veteran who has a question about their VA home loan. And it's not from the aspect of getting more business. It's more providing a service for a veteran to be able to ask questions.
And that's important that people understand. People like Ellie and Jeff did not get active in this to get more business. I've been with VA rep now for, 8-9 years. I've never got a deal. No. I don't care if I get a deal. But what motivates me is getting benefits and doing something for our veterans. That's what we're all about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We also talk about the bill that we already got passed. You were there on the floor when they did it.
So there's two parts to that bill. So the first part we already have passed back in we started in 2015. It was passed in 2018, and we were there. What it was is on the 1003 universal loan application, there was no data point available for us to ask a lender why they put a veteran into an FHA product or a conventional product. So what happened was VAREP created this bill with some sponsorships from some congressmen that we needed that data point. We needed something to say, okay, Mr. Mrs. Lender, why did you put this veteran in an FHA loan when they had their VA home?
Which is the best loan out there, so you qualify for it, yes.
So we came up with a question to put on the loan application, and now it says, have you served?
And it took an act of Congress.
It took an act of Congress to get that put on there. 3 years in act of Congress, but we got to put on there.
And now we're working on other bills. And that's, again, why we're going to Washington in June.
So the second half of that now is, now that we do have that data point, now we have what's called the Valid Act, right? And it's the informed choice disclosure when a borrower goes to a lender and says, I want an FHA loan. That lender by law has to provide them a side-by-side comparison of a conventional loan and an FHA loan. But even though a veteran checks that box, yes, I've served, it doesn't spit out a comparison of all three. Right? And we want that veteran to be able to choose what's best for him and his family, or them and their family, right? Sometimes, not too often, an FHA or a conventional loan might be better for them.
It could happen, but 99.9% of the time, the VA loan is the best loan. There's no PMI. You typically get a better rate. It's just everything about the zero down payment is just a great loan, and it's a shame. And look, the percentage is very small of lenders that don't have the veterans are looking out for them. But this is for those that aren't looking out for the vet. This is what VAREP is doing.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of that question also is a lot of veterans and a lot of female veterans don't self-identify as a
female veterans in particular. Talk about that. It's real interesting. I didn't know about that.
I don't know the numbers right off the top of my head, but it's large.
A lot
of female veterans who did serve. They did serve in a combat capacity. Some of them don't self-identify as a veteran. Now, there are also some veterans who have various things out there like survival guilt or whatever that don't self-identify as a veteran either. So that's something that we try to bring awareness to and help every veteran that we possibly can. Our motto for VAREP is one veteran at a time. That's what we can do. So
I just was looking at homes for a buyer that's veteran, and I come across the property and I see FHA, conventional cash. They're not offering VA. I wonder, so I call up the agent, ask him. I've heard this answer too many times. It's too expensive. My seller doesn't want it. Lack of education. So we have something called the MVHC, which we teach to educate lenders, realtors, and everyone in the real estate community. Can you take a minute and talk about MVHC course?
So MVHC course is a military veteran housing certification course. Here in Nevada, it is currently an 8-hour continuing education that realtors can get towards renewing their license. We have lenders that attend our classes that have been maybe doing loans for 15, 20 years. And always, every single class, we have one of those experienced loan officers come out and say, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's criminal, but that's why we're here. That's another reason VAREP is here, to help educate our real estate community. We had a great lunch and learn yesterday. We do these once a month where we bring in again people in our real estate community. It could be a lender, realtor, an inspector, appraiser. It doesn't make a difference. If they're any kind of connected to our business, and Jeff taught a fantastic class on Canva. So we are really bringing a lot of education to our real estate community.
Yeah, that's, we have a great education director here, Kathy Spinoza.
Also very passionate.
Who is she's a patriot. So within VAREP, if you serve, of course, you're a veteran. If you are part of VAREP, which you don't have to be a veteran, you're called patriot. And Kathy has been same time. We all started about the same time.
That's right.
She's very passionate about teaching. She enjoys it, and she has a pretty cool education lineup this year.
No, I know. I remember when I first met Kathy was at a Rebuilding America event, and her and I are shoveling stones. And she looked at me. She said, "You and I are too old for this stuff. We gotta save that for the young kids." But that's right. That's when I met Kathy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let's talk about where you see VAREP a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Well, there are a lot of stuff happening on the national level. Some of it I can't get into, but on the podcast. But there are some really big things happening. As far as our local Las Vegas chapter, I took when I took this job as president, I came into it, leave it better than I found it. Right?
Oh, you sure have already.
Well, let's go back to that. So I was on the board, wasn't on the board, but I was a very active member of VAREP pre-COVID, or before COVID. And Ellie here calls me up and says, "Hey," he was the vice president of VAREP at the time. He calls me up and says, "Hey, I need an education director." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's meet for lunch," and we did. And I took the position as education director, and I was teaching classes, right? And then just kind of caught the passion again for the chapter, right? And I saw where it could go and saw what we were doing and the impact we were making. It really inspired me. So you bringing me. Not that I had ever.
Well, I got to tell you, I always saw you around the board because you were so active and involved.
Yeah. No, I was. I just was very involved.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about the organization. I have been from day one. And now that I'm president, I'm able to make that difference. To make that. Like I said, leave it better than I found it.
Well, you have, and we're humming. I mean, our chapter is humming. We're growing every month. We're getting new members. We're growing at a great clip. I believe we are still the largest chapter in the country.
I think we're not the largest.
No?
I think Denver beats us.
Well, that temporarily.
Yeah, we're close.
Temporarily.
We're in the top. We're in the top three.
All right, we're going to wrap this thing up soon. I want you to talk about, you got a daughter, Michaela. What does she do?
I do. Michaela is a corpsman in the U.S.
How about that, huh? Follows her dad's footsteps.
Yeah.
Almost.
I'm a fifth generation Marine, and my daughter messes it up and goes in the Navy. But at least she's a corpsman. So, Marines we're very fond of our corpsmen. They're one of our own. So, she's doing well. She's doing well.
That's great. That's good. I know you're very proud. All right. I would like to ask guests to come out about some of their favorite things about Las Vegas. Talk about some of your favorite restaurants in town.
Oh, man. Favorite restaurant off the top of my head, I have two. Can I say two?
Yeah, sure.
One is Bootlegger.
Oh, yeah. Good one. Classic.
And the other is the Golden Steer.
Oh, two. Oh, boy, you're old school for a young guy.
I'm from Vegas. I'm from Vegas.
Those are both classic restaurants.
Yeah, Golden Steer is probably by far the best steakhouse in town.
I've never been.
Oh,
I know. I got to
it
get out
is,
there.
it is incredible.
Been to Bootleggers many times and always have a great meal and entertainment there. That's great. Okay. Favorite show in town? You got a favorite show?
I do.
Yeah. That is great. No.
Actually, the owner of my company, Steve Bland, he was an acrobat in O for 20 years.
No kidding. All those Cirques are great, but O is fantastic. I mean, it's hard to see a bad Cirque show.
Circus is a
Pretty good, yeah. All right, and how about outdoor activities around Las Vegas?
Oh man, outdoor or sports?
Outdoor. Outdoor.
Outdoors for me is lake beach fishing. I mean, that's my passion too. I mean, I'm at Lake Mead at least once a week in the summer.
That's great.
Sometimes twice.
Sports. We know now we're the sports capital of the world. We got more stuff going on than anywhere. And one more last question for you before we wrap it up. Where do you get your favorite crab cakes?
My favorite crab cakes, and I have to go to DC for those. That's a whole.
Jeff told me about this place and finally took me there.
All in the grill.
Oh my goodness!
When I was stationed in DC, that was my restaurant. That was my go-to.
What did you do in DC when you were stationed?
So I was at 8th and 9th, the Marine Barracks at 8th and 9th, right there on 8th Street, High Street. It's the Presidential Honor Guard for the Marine Corps.
Pretty impressive.
Postal boy from the Marine Corps. So.
Yeah, this is great. Listen, we got to wrap it up. We've been here a little more than a half hour, and I can't thank you for coming on. I know how busy you are.
Well, I appreciate it.
But I appreciate you coming out, and let's just keep VAREP moving, man, and growing, blowing, and put Denver in number 2 position.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Thank you.
Bader, thanks again, folks. We'll see you next week, and have a great week. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.